In this video, we're going to have a look at array manipulation. So we've already had a look at what arrays are in JavaScript. Now in this video, we're going to have a closer look at what arrays are and what kind of functions we can perform on those arrays. So let's have a look at the examples by running through each of these methods. So I'm going to first rename this to JS arrays. And let's create an array var arr equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there are 6 elements in this array. Now the first thing I want you to have a look at is certain basic properties, like certain basic methods like array.length. So if you want to calculate the length of an array, what you can do is you can say so you would say arr.length, and what it will do is it will get the value of the length of the array and print it. So you can see here the length of the array is 6. There are 6 elements in this array and arr.length offers you that number. Another thing that you should note is that there is something called index to an array. So for example, here we have 0 is the index here, and 1 is the index here, 2 is the index here, 3 is index, 4 in the 5. So every array starts with the index of 0 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The index of the array starts with 0 and then goes up to length minus 1. So the length of this array is 6 and 6 minus 1 is 5. So that is the ending index, the final index of the array. And the reason why index is important is if you want to reference a certain element in the array, then you would say arr and the index of that element. So if you want to select 3, you would say arr of 2 and it will print out that element in that index of that array. So let's say document.write the element at index is okay, so the element at index 2 is 3. So that's the basics of array. So every array item has an index and the length of the array can be calculated using arr.length. Now let's look at each of these methods to see how we can use them. So the first one is toString. So let's write that document.write toString arr.toString. Let's see what that results. Let's copy and paste this here. So you can see here that this arr.to capital S string results in this kind of a thing. And actually what it's doing is it's converting the array into a string of comma separated values. So you can see here that this contains a list of numbers and those numbers are being converted into a string here. So this is one single string with each of the values of the items in the array being presented as a comma separated characters in a string. Now let's move on to the next one. I'm going to copy paste this and we're going to change this to join and join. So this also does the same thing that toString does. It basically takes the array and joins the array into a string. But one difference is that here you can specify what the separator is. So the toString will automatically separate the items in the array with a comma. But here in join, you can specify what the separator is. So here you can say instead that you want the hyphen to be the separator and you can specify it like that. And it will result in the string being something like this where you're specifying the separator that is used between the items. Now let's say that you don't want any separator, then you can say something like this, an empty string, and it'll result in this kind of a string. Moving on to the next item. So here we have pop. So what pop does is it removes the last element from the array and prints it out. So here the last element of the array is 6 and arr.pop removes that element and it'll print that out here. Now moving on to the next one. The next one is the push method. So arr.push. And here we're going to say 7. So what the push does is it'll push whatever you pass here as the last item in the array. Now I've written 7 in double quotes, which means it's a string. Now if you write document.write the new array is arr, you'll get to see that 7 is being added to that list. Okay, that's what push does. Push adds an element at the very end. So whatever element you pass in through the parenthesis will be added as the last element in the array. Now let's try out shift. So what the ARR.shift does is it removes the first element from the array. So here it will print out the first element of the array that was removed from the array. Now if you want to have a look at what the new array is, you can print it out here like this, and it will print out the array without the first element. So you can see here that one has been removed from there. Similarly, we have the unshift, which instead of removing from the front, it will add to the front. So let's say I want to add 1 to the front again. So if I add unshift, it will add that. Now we can have a look at what the new array is going to be like. So here after the unshift, our array is back to having the 1 in the front. Okay, so that's what unshift does. And now moving on to delete. This one is to be written differently. So here we'll say delete ARR 1, and it says true, which means that this command worked out. Now if you print out the new array, you'll get to see what the new array is like. What it does is it basically removes the item that was at index number 1. So if you look at here, or rather if you look at here, the item at index 1 is 2, item at index 0 is 1, at 1 it is 2, 2 it is 3, and so on. So the item at index number 1 is 2, so it will remove the second element in the array, and now the new array is 1, comma, nothing, comma, 3. So that's how the delete method works, and it has to be written like this. So it's written a little differently than the other methods. So the next method to look at is the splice method. Now it's written a little differently than the other ones. So I'm going to say splice here. Splice. So the way to write splice method is you have to pass in certain parameters in there. So the first parameter to pass is the index. So at index 1, and you have to specify how many items you want to delete from that index. I'm going to say 0, and then I'm going to add the items that I want to add at that place. So I'm going to say just 2. So 2 is the item that will be added at index 1, and 0 items from index 1 will be deleted. Now if you print out the new array, it will show you something like this. Now you can also say 1 instead of 0, and it will remove that undefined element that we had here. So splice is a way to both add and remove items from a certain array. The first parameter is the index of the array at which you want to make the changes. The second parameter is the number of items from that index that you want to remove. And the third parameter onwards is basically whatever you want to add at the index. So you can add whatever you want here. You can also add 2, 3, 4, 5, and here you will see a different result here. So you can see here we've added 2, 3, 4, 5, and then whatever existed from that point onwards is being continued here. And splice is not an easy method compared to other ones. So let me also explain once more what happened just now. So at the index of 1, we are removing one element. Okay, so you can see here that at index 1 we had this blank element that has been removed, and after that was removed we had 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. Now this part of the splice method, it will add all of these items at index 1. So what it has done is at index 1 it has added 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we had the other elements that were already there being appended at the very end. So this is how the splice method works. Now let's try out concat. So concat is short form for concatenate, which means you're adding an array to the existing array. So here I'm going to say 6, 7, 8. So you can see here that concat results in the new array where we had this array already, but on top of that we're adding these 3 numbers. Another way to write this would be create a new array called array2 equals 8, 9, 10, and here instead of this array we can just pass in the array2, and instead of having this in the statement like this, we can say where arr3 equals this, and here you can simply say arr3. Okay, so what we've done here is we've created a new array called 8, 9, and 10, and we are writing this arr.concat arr2, which will result in a completely new array arr3, which will store this new array that is a combination of ARR and ARR2. So you can see that new array here. It's basically this plus this. So you have 5, 7, and then 8, 9, 10. So that's what concat is. Concat is very useful for creating new arrays based on a combination of two already existing arrays. Now let's look at the last method, which is slice. So the slice method, even though it sounds very much like the splice method, it's very different. So here what you pass in as parameters is the starting index and the ending index. So what it will do is it will take this array and extract the elements within these two indices. So index number 1 has the item 2, and even though we've written the end index as 3, which would actually be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is the item at index 3. Even though we've specified 3 there, what it will do is it will exclude the last index and then copy the items before that. So that would be 2 and 3. So 2 is the starting element and the 3 is the final element. So it extracts this from the array. Now if you say instead of 3 you say 5, it will go all the way from 2, 3, 4, 5. So the item at index 5 is basically 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 would be the item at index 5. So you can see here that we're getting 2, 3, 4, 5 because it excludes the final element. So that is all of the methods in array manipulation. You don't have to memorize all of these methods. I just wanted to showcase what these do. And whenever you want to use any of these methods, you can just Google for it on W3 Schools and you can find the methods and the syntax and everything. I'll show you quickly how to do that. So you can just go to array methods and Google for that and you'll see a lot of links. You will basically see both W3 Schools and also this developer.mozilla.org, which is also a reliable website for looking these things up. And if you click on that, you get to see all of the methods that we saw, like toString, popping, pushing. So all of these are available for you. So you don't have to memorize any of this. You just have to be familiar with it so that you know what to use when the time comes. So I hope this video was helpful. Please make sure to like and share this video and also subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for notifications. And also if you wish to support our channel through donations, you'll find links to donation portals down below in the description. We have option for donating through Patreon and also the UPI gateway. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.